Hello and welcome to another class. In today's class, we are going to be treating texture. In visualization, there is no way you want to do without adding textures or material to your object. This is very important and you don't want to miss it in this area because it's one of the pillars that would determine whether your visualization would be amazing or irritating. So let's jump into what we have today. I will be showing you some websites where you can download textures, high quality textures for free. And also we shall be dealing with how you can create your own texture from scratch. How you can create some basic textures like metal, plastic, and so on, glass, mirror, and the like. So without further ado, let's jump right into what we have. I'll show you a website that you can use to download HDRI. What are HDRIs? HDRI, like I've explained before, they are high dynamic range image. They are images that can mimic your environment. It's like your model is situated within a sphere or within a ball. So this image is cast around the circumference of this ball, so it feels like you are actually in a real environment, and the computer uses, or the render engine uses the information on the image to cast the light and shadows and sunlight just to light the scenes. This is a place where you can download high quality from 2K resolutions to like 16K resolution. So, and it's for free. So the first website I'll be introducing you to is polyhaven.com. Feel free to come to this website. It's full of stuff. You want to come here, you have HDRIs, and then you have free texture as well. These textures are very realistic. They are seamless PBR materials that what you need to do is just to insert them into their respective slots on V-Ray or Corona, and then you get very realistic results. Then you also have models. You can download models from here as well, but I would like to just firstly click on the HDRI. So you have fantastic HDRIs, so you can use any of these. Just download them. You have a lot. You have the lighting for outdoors, sunrise, medium contrast. You have the skies, you have indoors, you have studio. This is where you download your high quality HDRI map. So let me show you the texture as well. So you have lots and lots of high quality texture as well, and they are PBR materials. All you just need to do is to come click on it, and then you can preview here, and these are the maps that comes along with it. When you download it, you have the bump map or the normal map, then you have the roughness, glossiness. You'll get to see them later in the class. You can come here if you want to download this. For instance, you have them in 8K, 1K to 8K. You have the support files, but do not worry, once you have it in its image file, so you can use it in V-Ray. So, and we are going to see how to use a texture like this. Then another thing I want you to see is that it also has models that you can actually download for free as well. Look at how realistic this is. So you can download them in GTF, in FBX, in Blender, and with Blender you can always export straight away to SketchUp. But I have other sites that I download my 3D, so I will still be showing you also as we go in the classes. Then the next website I would like to show you is pixel.com/megascans. You can just type pixel megascans on Google, and then it will obviously take you to this place. So all you need to do to be able, because without signing in you will not be able to access any of what it has here. These are megascans material. These are super realistic models. They are completely realistic. So let me show you some assets or surfaces. These are not just ordinary materials. They were taken from real life images. So what they did was they scanned them. So that's why they are mega scan. So they were scanned and then converted into images for us to be able to use. But at this point you see that it is 2 points, so you have to pay. But Megascans gives all these things for free for gamers and Unreal Engine users. So for you to be able to access all this for free, all you have to do is to go to epicgames.com. This is where you need to sign in. scene. So just sign in, fill in your info, and then you can sign in with this account on Megascan. It's as easy as that. So anytime you want to download anything from here, whether it is assets, you can download realistic stuff here. Look at the chicken here. Look at it's very realistic. This is how it will come out when you render, and this looks so super real. It's a scanned image of a real object. It's very important that I let you know this, because it allows you to be very free. You have everything just at the tip of your finger, and then it makes a rendering of visualization easy and seamless for you. Without further ado, we will move into our SketchUp scene, and then we want to try and see how we can actually create texture and material for our scene. Let's jump into it. The first texture that I would like to introduce us to is, of course, our tile. I've actually prepared this scene with an HDRI. I downloaded this HDRI, and this is the HDRI. It's a Trekker Monument 4K. I will attach it actually to the class file for us to be able to use this. Even this scene, I would send you everything so that you'll be able to practice as well. So the first thing we want to do and bring out here is the tiles. I know a lot of times we design and then you like, how do I create my tile? It is very easy. You will come to the material here. This is the material place, and then what we want to do is to create a generic material. So we want to create you can either create from here, generic, or you come to this place, materials, you know, this arrow, and then create generic, and then it creates this for you. You can name it. So we want to create tile, so we just say tile and we hit enter. So now we want to tile this platform here. The first thing we'll do is to click here, and then I told you that this arrow will show you the detail of whatever you've clicked on. If I click on dome light, you see the detail of the dome light. If I click on sunlight, you see the detail of my sunlight. If I click on anything here, you see the detail here. So I want to edit my tile. So at first, let me apply this tile here. All I need to do is to click on it, right click, and then click on apply to selection. So it has applied by default this material to our scene. What we have to do now is simply to see what we have in our scene. So let me try and render and see what I have in my scene. So this is basically what I have. Let me make this larger so we can see for ourselves. So this is what we have. We have just pretty basic texture here. Nothing, no sheen, no roughness, nothing. It's just there. So we want to bring it up and see what we have to do now. We want to create the divisions that form a tile. So that is first thing we want to do. And then we'll notice that the division has like a bump in between it, like a grout. We call it grout. So this grout is like a depression, you know, that is formed like a line that allows for like spacing in between one tile to the other. So let's just do that. So the first thing we will need to do is to come to our reflection, because we want this to be reflective. So if this is reflective, let's see what we have now. I'm just trying to show you the breakdown of what we are doing. So now it is reflecting the environment. Can we see? So this is actually different from what we had before. So it's reflecting now the environment that we have here on this surface. So this is basically becoming so reflective, and we want to, can we see this platform now? So this is very reflective, but we want a tile. So this is what we'll do. We've actually made this to be white, and then it's very reflective. Now we want to reflection glossiness. Now we will create our divisions here with the help of this. If I click on this slot, it brings different maps and different operations here. So the first thing I want to what I will check here and pick here is the grid. So if we look at this is grid. We can use this. We can use the tiles as well, but we'll get to the tiles. So this is grid. Let's pick the grids. So now we have just a box here, and if we try to render now, let's see what happens. Let's see what it creates for us. It basically will create an illusion of a division for us, but because we can see already what we have here, it's actually, it has divided this into tiles. It has divided this into tiles. So this is very useful for us when, for instance, when we want to create like a pool tile. So we can have something like this. It's very nice, and you can create like these divisions of a tile. So what we want to do is we want a bigger kind of tile, and we want it to look more realistic. This is nice, but still not that realistic. So one thing I want you to understand is about glossiness is it uses the information of the color to detect how reflective a surface will be. So whatever you insert into it, what it does, it takes it and it uses the information of the color formation around it. So the white part is very reflective. That's what it does. So white part is usually white is the most reflective, while the black is the non-reflective part. So what we do is, if I come to color manipulation and I invert this texture, so it becomes this black here, and then we have the white here. You will see the difference here. Now let's see what we have. You see it will become more shiny, while the grout, can we see what I'm saying? The grout becomes less, it doesn't even shine at all. So this is very cool. It's just for you to understand how these materials work and how they work in the slots of all these functions. So this is looking very cool. So, but is this all we can do? No, we can actually come here and reduce the increase the width. If I increase this to so if I toggle this, I can actually increase the grout. So this is the grout, the spacing in between each tile. So let me use 0.05 for instance, 0.05, and I want to create 4 divisions. Now we just come to texture placement, and what I want to do is this repeat UV is where we come, and then I want it to be 2 here. I want the vertical to be 2 as well. So it divides this as just like a tile to us, and it just gives us basically the same, because it's spreading this all over the surface. But I want to return this to 1 and then 1 here, and we have this what we had before. So now I want to increase the size of this. I don't want it to be like this. I want it to be like a big tile, like 300 mm by 300 mm. So what do I do now? I will just have to do something. So I'm coming to another part. Let me return to my tile. So from here, let's go down. There's something called binding. This binding is where, you know, it's where you are helped to visualize, because as it is now, because this was is a preset from V-Ray, you won't really see this as anything on here. It won't show here, but there is a color helper here, texture mode. Just click on this auto and you see texture helper. So by the time you see this, you will be able to see the extent at which this is, so you can edit this. Let's just multiply this and say we want 1. Yeah, so let's see what we have here. Let me return to this, and then I want to hide this. Then let's see what we have. This is incredibly big. This is incredibly big. We don't want this. So we want this to be about let's say, all right, let's see what do we have here. So we have a bigger tile, but the grout is very big, and of course we have the black here and we have the white. So it's the white that is shining here. So what I would do is, let me invert, let me stop the render and come here and invert from color manipulation, and then what I want to do also is to reduce this so well. Let me use 0.02, and let's see. And now it's so shiny. Let me look at it from another perspective and see. This is so shiny. All right, you know, I told you that white is very reflective, and now our grout is nowhere to be found because it seems too small. So let's just use 0.05. At least we want to have, or 0. Okay, let me see what we have. We can see our grouts around here, but this is just an illusion caused by light, and it seems like as if, okay, we have a division here, but there is still no bumpiness. Before we do that, I don't want it to be as shiny as this. This is where you come to toggle with the color here. We come to color manipulation, and then you increase this. The more you increase that, it becomes less shiny, so you are reducing the reflection. Can we see? So actually, this is how to reduce the glossiness of this tile. So because it's going from white to black, and then it's reducing the glossiness. Now I want to come back. You can come back from here, or you can click on this, and then I want to go to my bump. So from bump, I want to add bump. Will create this ups and down, the gap itself within the grout. So there is a texture slot here, and I want to come here, just copy all we have here. I want to copy everything here, and I want to paste as a copy because this has different settings. So once I paste this as this, you will see a very visible results. Can we see what is happening here? Sometimes you want to have it that way, but this is how I set it. I just come to this, and then once I'm inside here, I come to color manipulation, and then I invert if I invert this, so we have it bumping up. In glossiness, white is the most reflective, and black does not reflect anything. But in bump, white will bump out while black will bump in. So that is how it works. So now if you look at this, now we have, this is not high resolution, but you know, if you look at this, you see the line here is bumping out. Actually, there is a bumpiness out, and then it's bumping out, and then we have the surface like bumping in. So that is what it does. So if I invert this texture, it makes this part black, and then this is gray now. And I want to bring this completely down so that we have full, you know, bumpiness, and we have these things. So I have my tile, so I can just always come out and or click my tile and come up here and change the color to whatever I desire of my tile. So which is actually cool, and we can even have something like this. And so we have our tile. Let me render it and see what we have now. So this is how to create your basic shaped tile without any stress. Just try to follow the process and understand the principle. When you insert texture into this slot, it uses the information on the map that you insert inside their slot to calculate between white and blacks, and then this would be used as information to decide on what the result will look like. So let me stop this and look how cool we have this. This is looking nice. You can make the grout thinner, but I want us to look at another type of tile. So instead of using this kind of tile that we had here, we can just clear this. Let me clear it. You can clear your map here, and then if I clear that, do not forget to clear this as well. because if you don't clear it, it will still continue to use that information for your tile. So now I want to use another thing here, which is this tile. This is more advanced than this, because this you can, with this you can create different shape. You know, look at this. You can have this, you can have this, you can have, you know, you can really toggle with different things here. And let me use this. And okay, then I want to create a color variance. Can we see what is happening here? This is really beautiful. So you can, this is the main color here, but you can choose whatever color you want to create your variance. And in this case, let me use this. And you can also generate fade variance, which I don't want to. Random seeds as well, you can randomize them, which is cool. Let me just use this. And this is the grout. You know, you can choose to use something thinner as well, which in this case, let me just use 0.1. Let me use 0.1. Then we have this. Now let's see the results. Let me just click on this. So can we see the results we have here? Why do we have this kind of results? Why do we have this kind of render? It's like nothing is happening, but actually in real sense something is happening here. So let me see what is happening. So our glossiness here, we have this map here. We can copy this and drag here as instance. So if I drag it as instance, we can see what is happening here. And now I can see my map here. It's very small, and then you don't really get to see anything. So let's come to the sizes here. I want to pick this and come to the size, and let's see 6. So we have this, but still not shiny. We want it to be shiny, but we understand something, that from our glossiness, what makes it to shine is actually if it is white, and this is very dark. All this together, they are really dark. So how do we do this? I want to manipulate the color without affecting any setting here. I will just right click on this and wrap. So there is another option here which is called color correction. You can use this to correct any map, but I want it to be brighter. So can we see something that is happening here? It is getting reflective. So the brighter it is, the more reflective it is, which is nice as it is here. So I want this information, I want to copy the information here, copy, and use this here as a copy on our bump map. So we see how it becomes so bumpy already. Can we see? Can we see? Can we see? So basically this is how you create. You can also set, you know, come here and do settings and all. So but this is basically how you create your tile. You can use this for the kitchen back wall, even in the pool. You can use it anywhere, just for you to know how to create your tile. Let's go to another texture. In this case, we want to check how you can apply your wood texture. Wood texture, of course, you need an image of a wood or a wooden surface or a wooden texture to simulate a wood texture. So from this site that I've introduced you to, you can go to any of them and download your wood texture. So in my case, I have actually compiled some of them here, what I have downloaded, and then I want to use this wood. And what I would do is I will just copy this part, this file path, copy, and then I'll come to this place. Let me create another texture or another material, generic, and then I want to call this wood floor, and then we have this. So if we create this, now we have a brand new texture or a brand new material for us to edit. What do we do? If we check our file here, you see something. You see the diffuse color or the albedo. So this is the main file itself. This is the main file, and then this is high resolution image. You are free to download yours. And then we see another file, which is the glossiness map. So this is what you insert into the reflective glossiness. This is what the computer will use as information to decide on which aspect we will not have reflection and which aspect will have reflection. So of course you can almost calculate it yourself. These black areas now, we have no reflection or very little reflection. Then this gray area, we have very subtle reflection, while these light areas, this white area, will be very reflective. And then that's how the computer will use the information. Then here we have the normal map. This is how normal map comes. It just comes in this like purple color or so. Then we also have another you can use this for reflect, and you see them. This is reflect. They name them according to, this is normal and this is glossiness, and this is, so you can use this inside the reflection map, which you will see how everything. This is diffuse and this is also called albedo. So let us see that right now. We want to apply this now. What we do first, this is diffuse. We want to insert our diffuse color here. We'll click on this and go to bitmap. So bitmap will take you directly to your computer, and then here you want to paste what part that you copied the other time, and it takes you directly here. And what do I want to do? I want to just click on this and open. So once I open this has brought this into our scene, so we can just right click and apply to the surface. Can we see what we have here? If we try to render, it wouldn't really give us, it's just the color. You just be seeing this as like an image pasted. So but we don't want to just see it as an image pasted here. We want to actually see some realistic effects with this. So this is realistic. There's no reflection, it's just there. What we need to do now is to make things more realistic. You can see it's just it's just like an image. So what I want to do now is to continue. We have reflection, and we want to bring, either you bring your reflection. If I bring my reflection all the way to white, everything becomes like glass. It's just so reflective, can you see? It's just so reflective. You don't want that. So what I would need to do is to come to my reflection slot here, map slot, and come to the reflect here and pick that. So if I pick that, it will use that information to generate reflection for this, and you see that it won't have much reflection. It's just subtle. Can we see? It's just subtle reflection, which is it's okay. So because what I inserted it's a little bit dark, and it's just using the information here. Now the reflection glossiness, we want to use this, which is the gloss, and then bring it in. And once it's in here, we have our glossiness, and we see what we have now. Now this is no longer as reflective as it was a few moments ago, and now we see what we have now. So what else do we have to add? This is still looking very flat. What we need to do is, okay, let me brighten up my dome lights. Let's say 5 or 20. Okay, 5. And let's check what we have. Okay, so for us to just have a brighter scene, I've increased my dome light here to about 5, so that we can have a better look at what we have been saying. So let's leave it to clean it up. So we have this still not having some depth. So we want to, let me stop this. We want to go to our bump, and now this is bump map. There are types of bump. We have the bump map and we have the normal map. So you want to bring this to normal map because what you are bringing in is a normal map. So you set it first, then you come here and go to your bitmap, then we'll bring this normal map, and that should be it, and you have your floor. So basically this is how you insert your PBR materials that you've downloaded from this website. They have the reflection, they have the bump, they have the glossiness, they have the albedo and the like. So if you feel that you want to improve on this, for instance, you just need to understand how the color works. So if I want to improve on the glossiness, if I want it to be, let's say, I want it to be reflective, more reflective, I can come here and come to the color manipulation, and I can increase. Okay, let me see if this will affect anything now. So you can offset the color, and by doing that you make this to become more reflective. So if I render this now, you see the surface will become more reflective. So it is just understanding how the color is interpreted by the machine. Can we see what we have here? We see the environment is already shining or reflecting on this surface, and basically that is just what we need when we are creating our texture. So we move to the next texture now, which is our glass. So we want to see how to apply it. Basically, if you want to apply granite, you want to apply concrete, this is basically how you will go about it. There's no magic about it. There is nothing difficult here. It's just you understanding the concept of how the light works with glossiness, reflection, how it works on bump, that's from blacks to white. On glossiness, white is more reflective, while black does not reflect anything. While on the normal map, white will shoot out, will create an upward bump, while black will create a downward bump. So that is just that about that. So let's move to the glass. So let me create another texture material, and then we name it thin glass. And then what we do here is to apply to this, and we want to, the first thing we want to do is to make this reflective. That's the first. Then the second is to make refraction as well. Just drag it and make it fully refractive, and then you want to check this thin world. So it is a thin glass now. So let's see what we have now, and with this we can see, if I rotate, we can see our thin glass. Can we see? This is it here, and this is what we've created here. And now we have like a thin glass. So let's say you don't want it to be thin, you can just uncheck this. We want it to have a thickness. So now we have a thickness to our glass by increasing the IOR. So this IOR is just a property of glass, and then this becomes, it has a depth. And then can we see, it's supposed to actually, you'll be able to see through and see what is exactly happening behind. But what we have here, we are having, is acting as a reflective plane as well. So it's reflecting what is opposite here and also allowing you to see through. Normal thin glass does not have that. So this is just when you want to create like a thin glass, a thick glass, or a glass with depth, with so much depth. So we can return this to 1.66, and then we have a normal glass. Now what if I want to color my glass, or I want my glass to be tinted? What you need to go to is the fog color. So this fog color is where you tint your glass. I want this color here. Okay, already it's changing it, and then I just want this kind of color, and this is the depth. So the higher this value here, the lighter it becomes. So the lower the value, the deeper it becomes. So sometimes you just want a subtle tint, and let's see what we have here. Can we see what we have? And we're already seeing the tint here. Let me try to reduce this. Can we see? So we can use this to create, let's say, handrail, or you can just use this, and this is very cool. This is very cool. Let's change the color, let's say to green, and you see it change now. So can we see? So we have this, and basically that is how can we see how beautiful this is? Basically this is how you have your glass tinted, and that is that. And the next thing we want to see is a blurry glass, like this, all these glass that the like bedroom glass, shower glass, but you don't want them to be clear glass. You want them to be a little bit blurry. Let me return this to white, and then let me return this to 1. So I want it to have like a blurry effect. So I'll just come to the refraction glossiness. So it is here that I would tweak. Let me use 0.96, and here it's already getting blurrier, and we want to see what we have. Let me show you. Can we see the effect? It's now blurry. You are not really seeing through again. So it's it's very beautiful. It's also very beautiful, and then you can use this on your project, which is nice. Can we see it's blurry? And the lower this becomes, the less see-through ability your glass has. So we want to stop this, and let me return this to the previous value. Let's say you want to create like an effect on your glass. Let's say I want to have like fog, this let's say water effect or fog or something on my glass. This is where you come to. You would click on the texture slot, then you download the water effect that you want. But in this case, I just want a just an effect that like a noisy fog. So I'll just click on this, and then I want to use the smoke here. So with this smoke, I want to create a kind of noise on this, and you can toggle this on and off, and then you can increase the size, and let's see what has happened here. Let's see. Now you can see this little noise around here. So it's it can act like as if you have water droplets on your glass, and then it's just nice. It's nice. Can we see? It's just like probably it just finished raining and you have this kind of effect on it. So let's say I want to increase this. I can just copy this. I can copy this effect, and or let me go to binding. The binding is where you go to increase the sizes of whatever. Let me use texture helper, and with my texture helper, already I have this. Can we see what we have? This is very beautiful, and it just looks like some water effects, mist effects upon our glass, and we can see all these effects around here. So it is just taking the information on on our noise effect, and then it's using that, it's translating it to what it understands. It understands that, okay, if you have a very white area, that place will be very refractive, and if you have a darker part, that place will be less refractive. And that is exactly what it's using here as the information, and you just need to understand this. It's very nice. We can see it better here. You can see what we have here. So you can download maybe water droplets, and then you can use it inside your refraction glossiness, and everything is just the same principle. Another one is if you want to create corrugation. Let's say we want to have a corrugation on our glass. We can just, let me delete this, clear this, and let me come to bump. I'll come here, corrugated, and then I want to bring this, and because it is a normal map, I need to change this to normal. And let's see something. We need to be able to view it so that we can edit our corrugation. So this I would copy and bring to our binding here, custom, and paste in instance. So by default, we'll see, can we see this is our normal map here, and it's really too tiny. We want to increase it here to about let's say 600 by 600, and now we have this. Now what this does is that it bumps out the white aspect and bumps in the darker area. So let's use this and see what we have here. Can we see what we have? So this is the effect. Let's say you want to create this kind of effect on maybe shower, or maybe even your office partition. Can we see, guys? This is really nice. So let's stop this and want to create the last part of our glass. We want to see how you can, let me delete this, clear, how you can create a mirror. When you're creating a mirror, what you need to turn on is your reflection IOR, and then you don't need a refraction at all. Don't need a refraction. Let me remove this from the, let me clear from the color helper auto, and then stop this, and then we have this. All you need to do is your reflection IOR. Once you toggle that on, just increase it to 999, and you have a mirror effect. And if I render, I will see it fully reflecting what is opposite. So let me stop it, and I want to turn on the interactive render and see. If I turn this around, it reflects what is directly opposite. So this is a mirror, and this is nice. And let's move on to the next, which is how to create a plastic is pretty easy. You just have to, let me create another material, and then we want to name this plastic. And what do? I want my plastic to be this color. Then I want your reflection, of course, and basically this is plastic. You want to maybe 0.9, and plastic is as simple as this. Let's render. First, we want to see what we have. Then we have this now, so we want to add our plastic texture. So now that we have this, let's render. So you can reduce the reflection, and the glossiness, so you have this plastic feel. And this is nice. And so guys, this is just plastic. The next thing we want to go to is a chrome material. So now we have our material. Let me create a generic, and I want to create chrome, and here I'll just apply onto this, apply to selection. And what I will need to do is to turn the reflection on, then the metalness. So on the metalness, you just make sure it is 1, and you want to toggle your color, because your color matters a lot. So this is like a chromium texture, and let's see what we have. So let's see what we have. So can we see what we have here? Let me zoom out. Okay, so we have, let me hide this. So we have this. Okay, if I don't want it to be as reflective as this, I can come here and toggle the reflection glossiness to about 0.83, and we have it less reflective. And if I don't want it to be as like this color is, you can also reduce the metalness, and then you have this and the color. So you have this. So guys, it's just like this you create your chrome material. And let's go to the next one. I want to create a golden texture. Let me hide this. Golden metal. So let's create generic. They have gold. So it's just simple to, what you need to do is, let me apply this to this, and then turn your reflection on, then your metalness on. But what we do differently here is that we want to pick a color that is like gold. So you can check out the color that makes gold, and then you have this. It's just as easy as that, guys. So let's see what we have. So we have the gold metal. So it's just as easy as this, guys. And we can reduce the glossiness and all other stuff like that. And that is that about that. Then we want to create a scratched metal surface. How do we do this? This is where things get interesting. So scratched metal surface is just the way we've been doing things. Let me hide this. We want to create a scratched metal. Generic scratch metal. And now we have this. Let me increase this, and we want to bring this metalness like this, and then we want this to something like this, then something like this. Then the reflection glossiness would insert a file of scratched surface. Then I want to come here to bitmap imperfection. Then I want to come to the metal imperfection, and I want to select this. I've downloaded from Quixel Megascan, and this is gloss and this is roughness. You can use either of them for the reflection information. So let's use this, and I will open this. So once we open that, we have this. So what this does is it uses that information to create our glossiness, and you can decide to change that or use it that way. So in this case, let me just apply it to this, and I want to use texture helper because this is an organic body. Texture helper, or better still, let me copy this and bring it to custom and paste as instance. So you will see it, you will see the map displayed on, can we see, this is the map, and this map, it looks so small, and we want to edit it. And let's say we want to use 1002, we want to even further use, let's say 2002. Or now we also want to make sure it is mapped correctly by using our triplanar projection, and now we have it mapped correctly. So be careful, make sure organic bodies, you map them correctly. Now we can reduce this to like 1 so that the scratch will look realistic, guys. Let's say we want to have 854. Now we have the scratch well mapped. We can even go lesser and use 554. Now we have a better view of this. Now let's check out by simply clicking on interactive rendering, and let's see what we have here. We allow this to go, you see it's much more realistic. Can we see it already on it? It looks so realistic. It looks so realistic. Okay, the denoiser is not helping, but if we look at the scratch, all these surfaces, the imperfection on the surface, it makes your work look so realistic. These are actually what makes your work to be very interesting. When you apply this on the surface, it's not just all smooth, because in the real sense, you don't always have everything to be smooth and smooth and smooth and smooth all the time. Because this is what we have. And then if you now want to even make it better, what do? You bump it up. So you apply this same thing to your bump. So you apply the texture or the information to your bump as well. So let me stop this and bring this, that we have the information here. We want to copy it and bring it to bump. In this case, we are not using bump map. We are not using normal map, so it's just bump map. So I'll just paste it as a copy. So if I paste this as a copy, can we see already it has the information, and then we can reduce the intensity of it, and then let's see what we have here. It is very cool and easy. It's just inserting your information into your texture slot. That is what makes the difference. and it can make your work look so amazingly different from your your colleagues and all. Can we see the bump? Can we see everything here? It's so realistic, guys. It's so realistic, and we can see the bump all about it, the scratch. You can use this principle on anything. You can even use scratch on your glass cup. Let's say you have a glass cup and you want fingerprint. This is just how you do that. Just go download your fingerprint imperfection from these places that I've showed you, and then you have them inserted in glossiness in this for their information, and then you have them. So guys, this is just gonna be it for this class. In the next class, we'll be treating fabric, plaster, and stone, and basically it's just almost the same thing, but there's a little difference in in principle when you create your fabric, because fabric, of course, you have the fall off, you have different things that makes your fabric look indeed fabric like. So until the next class, see you and have a nice day.